Hello everybody, welcome to Atomic Mass Transmissions live from our houses. Still, hopefully you had a great Gen Con. I know we did here at Atomic Mass Games, and we appreciate everybody hanging out, chatting, engaging in the cool quest for the Infinity Stones thing that we had. I can't remember the name of it, I'm bad with names, terrible with names. And hopefully you joined in all the cool painting streams and all the awesome spoilers. So, hopefully you had fun. Today we're going to be painting our, I don't want to use the word sidekick, but Doctor Strange's bestie, Wong, who is a mystical empowerer, super cool character, really like him, and we're just gonna get painting. So let's get in there and have some fun. Let's get in there, have some fun, do the thing we're gonna do. Bum bum. Mork32 says amazing first experience of Gen Con. Wow, it was one heck of a first. Let me be really real here. My first Gen Con was a lot more work. A lot of work. Alright, I got just a bunch of different colors. I got like an ochre. I got like a warm brown. I got like a nice dark peach. I got some reds and greens, and I'm just going to paint them up. And I'm just going to make it up because there's no wrong way, there's no wrong color to paint skin. So I'm just going to have fun and do it up. I know we're going to paint this little flock green. I think I'm going to do a little different green. Maybe I'll do some a more desaturated, realistic green. The studio one is definitely more comic pop. I like to do a little different something sometimes. I'm going to do my classic. Now, if you joined in over Gen Con, you might have caught the skin tones class, and hopefully that was super useful for you. So I'm going to add in my red now. Yeah, Frankie McShanky, putting in those blue shadows in that green really makes it stand out, really gives it a lot of life. Very cool. Someone just very quickly put some red tones just to give him warmth, life. Michael Myers, we had a great Gen Con. We had a lot of fun, and hopefully you all did too. A lot of cool stuff was shown. What was your favorite, what was everybody's favorite spoiler from Gen Con? This is our first stream back. Chick is on vacation, so I'm covering for him. Actually, everybody's on vacation. I'm going to take mine real soon. You watch. You watch. Pagani's on vacation, but of course he couldn't step away. He just can't go enjoy being off, can he? Go be off work. Nobody knows how to enjoy vacation anymore. Alright. X-Men and She-Hulk, yeah, She-Hulk, boy, I love that sculpt so much. Like, I had so much fun painting her for the skin tones class that I just had to finish her up after the class. Oh, Chick is saying make me proud. You're on vacation and I've been talking to you all day about project. You guys are terrible at vacation. I think Simone's on vacation too. What the heck? Everybody needs to go on vacation. Go! Get out of here. I got this. I've done this a billion times. Wolverine and Sabretooth says Werewinds. Yeah. Let me tell you, I got a soft spot for Mr. Wolverine. I got a giant collection of Wolverine comic books, so getting to paint him up was super awesome, and I'm really excited. We were talking about fun work things all day. That's true. I mean, I don't think I've ever had work things here that's not fun, but that's just me. That's not true. Budgets aren't fun. I'm terrible with numbers. Alright, putting a little green in the base skin tone. Just to bring that green in there. A little bit of green. A little bit of green. Victor Habitina, that's assuming cons are back next year. Will Path of Worthy only be at one con or more? I don't think we've ever said what we had planned for the Path of the Worthy, but it definitely, the plan was more than one. For sure. We announced Adepticon and UK Games Expo last year for Path of the Worthy, so that was more than one. So more than one. Gamers Web UK says Kingpin for the shoe in. Let me tell you, that Kingpin miniature is boss sauce. I got one right here. He's big. I'm ready to paint him up. I might do two because I kind of want to do like a white suit and the black suit. I'm actually playing. Like I want to do the little purple tie with some black stripes or something. Be a lot of fun. Alright, I'm gonna make a brown with green and red. I'm gonna just start. That's a little more red than I want, but that's okay. I put it by the ear. I'm gonna pretend I did that on purpose. Because it's a little more red by the ear and in the eye sockets is never a bad thing. So a little more, darken that up, a little more green. I'm just gonna start some darker shades. Three? You need 3 kingpins. There's a lot of kingpins. I need 4 Wolverines for sure. I already painted the yellow brown suit And of course, I need to do yellow blue suit because it's just classic and awesome. And I'd like to do a black, white, red version, like the X-Force costume, which is super, super cool, of course. And I would really like to do a diorama with Mr. Logan. And so I got a little diorama kind of planned out. I've been planning for a long, long time because, like I said, we've been working on these for a long, long time. Miniatures take a long time to make, surprisingly enough. So soon as we started working on him, I was just like, there's a diorama I just gotta do. So hopefully I'll be able to start that soon. Soonish. I'm not doing anything fancy here. Just having fun painting. No, the gold, silver, and bronze coins are not marked as such with conventions or anything like that. All right, one more darker shade and just a very Kingpin's mysterious affiliation card. Whoa. This is why they said Shikarai earlier. I saw that. I mean, it's just hurtful, but I understand. Shik is a spoiler. He shows all of the spoils. All you get from me is painting. So I don't have the affiliation card to show you, sorry. We do have nothing left to spoil. We shared the world at Gen Con for sure. Are you not entertained? There's nothing left. We shared it all. We just gotta make more stuff now. I mean, we're making more stuff. As a fellow bald fellow, gotta make sure that the noggin is polished when you're painting a miniature. I need an off-white. The Narmistan says, are you ever going to let a character release without showing everything in his box? I tell them all the time, don't show anything in the box. They don't listen to me. That's why I'm not in charge. Does anybody believe that? I'm not a big fan of gloss varnish, Tim. Not my style. Not my style. I think that just comes from studio painting. Like when you're painting for a photograph, you actually don't want gloss because it reflects so much light back at the camera. It makes it very difficult. So I'm kind of not a big fan of gloss varnish, but that's probably just because if I were to do it, Jesse would get really upset with me. Oop, just some more highlights. Oop. Cameras do not like it. Big Bad Andy. So Dallas, what would you do if you wanted to give Wong head stubble as though he shaved his head? That's a great question. Jesse would cut me. Yes, that's true shit. What would I would do the same thing if you watched the skin tone class. I did 5 o'clock shadow. I would do basically the same thing. I would take and add a gray, preferably a gray with a little bit of blue in it, which is over on the table, so I can't read the name. Gray with a little bit of blue in it, and I would mix it into my base skin color that I've chosen. And then I would really just glaze that over the head, focusing more on the sides and the back, because that tends to be the heavier parts. And then, but you want to glaze it because you still want the skin to show through. So I would paint all the flesh, and then I would do that at the very, very end. That seems good enough. That seems good enough. Mork 32. 2 questions. I'm gonna do one at a time if you don't mind. Do you always complete one area like skin since score before moving to another area? Oh yeah. I always mean to. So I have a terrible memory, and I'm a very, very busy person. So I do forget a lot to tweet out pictures, and I always think about it, and then I just get mega busy, and that's my fault, and I apologize. I missed the top of his ankles. Wong doesn't wear socks. Maybe my Wong wears socks. What if I give him like little dragon socks? Some mystic footwear. All right, I'll paint his feet. But do I move on? I typically paint one area, and then before moving on, unless it's competition, and then I might skip around a little bit more because I want to control light and stuff. But also, I know a lot of people talk about stripping miniatures. I've never stripped a miniature. I just paint over what I don't like. Like if I didn't like this skin, I would just change it, right? I would just change it by adding color to it. I mean, there's no real reason to strip it down. So I would just add color to it and alter it. But as far as like moving on from one, yeah, on tabletop, I paint all, I kind of paint them like I'm dressing them. So I start from the inside and work my way out. Of course, the skin is typically the furthest inside, quote, quote, of the miniature. And what that does is allows me to clean up as I go. So I can be kind of messy on the skin, and then I paint around it, and I'm just a little more careful because I don't want to mess it up. And then the further you go out, the further away from the skin you are, and the less mistakes matter. If that makes sense. Hardball socks, yeah. Yeah, if you mess up from priming from a rattle can, that's a problem. I would strip that miniature. But also, I've given up on priming with a rattle can. I just can't bring myself to do it anymore. And also, even if I were priming with a rattle can, I don't think I'd mess it up because I would test it. I used to have a roommate who would just walk outside with the miniature that he was so proud of that he was ready to paint, and he would just hit the miniature with the primer instead of testing it. But like, I'm a big fan of testing everything. Like, you test everything, you test fit everything before you glue it. It's proper technique, right? This isn't like you have like this is just proper technique. So you test fit everything before you do it. You cut one part out before the next part. You test everything. You test the primer before you do it. You test the paint before you put it on your miniature. Like, I know it's exciting in you're in a hurry, but you shouldn't. You can be in a hurry, just don't be in a rush. There's a difference. I feel like this guy needs some freehand on the back of his jacket. So, what color are his shoes? Are his shoes green too? I think his shoes are green too, right? Six gonna answer here in a second. So I'm just gonna give him time to answer. Dry brushing is not a sin at all. Dry brushing is just a tool in the toolbox. I've seen dry brush miniatures that you would not know are dry brushed. I ain't fighting nobody. I'll dry brush here on stream. I'll do it. He's like the green Bruce Lee. He's like the Bruce Lee Hulk. The Hulk of Bruce Lee's. That's gonna do. It's gonna look so dope. So dope. I need like a... I mean, I'm not gonna do it on this miniature because this miniature doesn't call for it, but if the miniature calls for dry brushing, I will do it on stream. 100%. Gold on this would look amazing. Yeah, some gold would look really good on him. Oh, I need to move to finish this. his footies. His footies. He needs some sort of freehand back here. I need to find some cool design to throw on his back. Kind of like it's like his biker jacket. Except for it's his mystical arts jacket, which was an elective in high school, if you remember correctly. Gold on this would look amazing. I'm thinking his little snaps on the front, I'll do those up gold. The Ai Agamotto on the back of his jacket. I'm down. Send me a cool line drawing of it, and maybe I'll even do it on this stream if I can get to it. I'm not saying I won't get to it, but I'm not saying I will. I'm fickle like that. Use that shadow to kind of dark line. I don't really like. I'm not gonna focus a lot of time on his feet. Like, no one's gonna pay attention to how well the feet are painted. Cobra Kai model, that's amazing. Just paint, sweep the leg on his little back. Why not? I know that's not very funny, but I'm not funny. That's the problem. Few people who think they're humorous are. Go with some more green. This is like the army green, no more military peacoat green. I'm just gonna put some really broad shadows in there, just to give it some tonal variation. And then we're gonna put some blue in those as well in a moment. I'm gonna need my hold your blue for that. Colors Bay. I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm not even really thinking about how light actually works. I'm just kind of putting some weird shapes and then just smudging them out. Just kind of letting the irregularity kind of work in my favor. And kind of keeping it away from the upper surfaces, because I like that light green up there to represent some highlight. Morks 32's many color choices look so good on this mini. I'm thinking bronze or purple. Great sculpt. I agree. Like, I mean, I think a lot of miniatures, just with a little time and a little thought, you can make it look very unique to what you want, and get something really clever and classy out of most miniatures. Like, I'm not saying. I mean, even Fisk miniature would look pretty good in a periwinkle suit. I think he could pull it off. Okay, I think Schick sent me. Oh no, maybe not. No, that's a different discussion. I thought Schick sent me the thing. All right, hold your blue. I'm gonna put a little bit of that base green in there just to bring some of that back in. Because blue, remember, blue is very, very punchy. Blue is a very powerful pigment, like just naturally, very powerful pigment. It can knock the color right out of anything you mix it into. So you have to be very careful with your blues. So a lot of white people have a hard time with painting yellow, right? They're like, yellow pigment just naturally is not a strong pigment, so that's why it typically takes multiple coats, right? It's just science at that point, right? The materials to make yellow in the world are just these naturally, not as powerful things. So that's why usually I do 2 coats. Whereas blue is very, very strong. Very strong. You can see that blue just starting to kick up. And especially this Holger blue's got a little green in it anyways. So it adds to his what we've already done, and it darkens it. You know, a lot of people think to darken or lighten you add black or white, but those are desaturators, so they remove a lot of color, right? We're getting into some fun color talk now. So I tend to stay away from just adding black to colors or adding white to colors, because I don't want to lose anything. So I pick my shadows by finding punchy colors that darken. So I just hold your blue. Works great. Darkens down my green. Stays punchy. Stays crispy and milk. Hold your blue, yep. Guys, we could talk about Gen Con 2021. When would I choose to desaturate? If I want something to look desaturated, or if I need contrast, like say I have something very, very punchy and I want to be even more punchy, I would maybe put a desaturated color next to it, which is going to make it stand out even more, right? So you could have a really punchy color and make it read to the eye stronger by putting a desaturated color next to it, right? Because this is going to make it stand out in the eye, bolder and stronger. That's just contrast, right? There's lots of types of contrast. There's light contrast or light dark contrast. There's warm cold contrast. There's saturated desaturated contrast. So learning about the different types of contrast can help you make those decisions. I don't have a necessarily X is when you do. because a lot of it is art, so you're kind of going with what you feel and what is right for your project, right? I paint differently than you. Maybe you're painting comic book style, right? So maybe you would just avoid desaturating totally, right? So learning about it and then understanding that it's a tool like dry brushing, and then learning when to use the tool, right? You want a tool belt with a screwdriver, a hammer, a level, right? You want all the tools in your tool belt. If you purposely remove one of those options, like if you make a choice to just not ever desaturate, then you're removing a tool from your tool belt, and then that's bad. You no longer have that available. Not like having everything available. I'm darken up around the collar. The collar that out. So I'm just making a choice, right? If I darken up around the collar, it kind of frames the face. And that's where I want to draw focus. There we go. Now the other thing this blue does is I got a little bit of blue in there. It's a blue-green, but it's still blue. And of course, what looks really, really good next to blue? Orange. And what color are we going to paint as magic swirls? Orange. So we get even more contrast. We get this nice, beautiful bounce between. Octo Fernandez, my second brush is damp. Just damp. So I'm going to start with some yellow on his Mystic Smoke. I'm not going to worry about 2 layers here. You know, everybody's always like yellow's 2 layers. We were just talking about this. I'm not going to worry about 2 layers. I don't need it to be perfectly coated, because I'm going to add oranges and reds to it. So we're going to just build off that kind of under layer, so it doesn't got to be perfect. I just need some yellow in there for that pop. I want that pop. Kind of just going to lift all the vibrancy, saturation of the Mystic Smoke up. So I don't even need to go all the way down to the ground. That'll get orange, and it can be darker down there, so it looks good. Now while that's drying, add some highlights. Maybe turn it just a little bright. That's fine. I like putting those highlights right next to the dark lines, because once again, that's your contrast. The light dark right next to each other. It just makes both of them stand out more. What was the thinking behind the smoke which Wong is standing on? From what I believe, Wong doesn't have mystic powers himself, but his martial arts trains the MCU creeping is meant as a rocket group. It's he's got. I mean, he's providing some mystic power, right? And also, this looks really cool. I mean, he's empowering Doctor Strange with mystic power, with his superpowers. Maybe it's Doctor Strange. I can't talk about release schedules. I don't. We only, like, if it hasn't been announced, can't talk about it. Sorry, that's future release. Make it pop. Yeah, I like doing little dots and lines. Give me that texture. Do a couple of lines around his ankles to make it look like it's scrunched up. And we focus on making the miniatures just look cool, right? We want to make cool pieces of art. That's like our first goal, right? Is to make really cool pieces of art that just tell a cool story and maybe get your imagination running wild, and then you can tell your story. Then maybe you can change it up, right? Maybe you want to change his mystic smoke into more of a ring, like he's got a sling ring. You can do that, but we want to provide that jumping off point. We want to make really cool, dynamic miniatures that tell a story. So. Somebody was asking about tactical rocks. I was like, well, they're in a battlefield. There's rubble falling all over the place. So let's just tell a cool story in the Marvel Crisis Protocol universe. And you can go and you can tell your stories. That's the fun of hobby miniatures and gaming in general, right? It's like telling your story. I'm going to erase that highlight. I don't like it. So I just use a damp brush and I just wipe it away. Alright, need some black. There you go, shit got in there. Show mystic abilities. He's a magician's apprentice, yeah. Big Bad Andy. Wong looks very cool and also pretty easy to paint. I'm terrified of painting Doctor Strange. Why are you terrified? Why are you terrified? Sugar's in there dropping some ancient comic knowledge bombs. Why are you terrified of Doctor Strange? He's very easy to paint. We might even be doing a stream on him. Like, he's got very similar clothing, right? It's like nice flowing, big soft cloth, you know, a couple wraps. And then this is very easy. This is just some washes and stuff like that. And I'm gonna I can show you. Actually, I did a stream on this. You should go back and watch it. It's all about just doing some washes and then like using the imperfect parts of the wash to your favor to make it look more mystical. To add to the mystic. If I could hurry, maybe we would paint mystic on Wong here. Josh limits me to an hour, so it makes it quite difficult. Learning new things should never be scary. It's okay to get in there and try it out and give it a go. Maybe test it out on a piece of paper first, right? Test your colors out. Get your, like if I were to do freehand on the back of Wong's jacket here, I wouldn't, I mean on the stream I would and just hope for the best, but if I was doing it for myself, I would definitely test it out. I would draw it several times on a piece of paper with my paintbrush and make sure I get the shapes the way I want it, and then just kind of copy it on the measure. For streams though, that's kind of boring. I gotta go in and just do it for y'all. Whoops, threw my brush. Are you doing Glasses Beast or Sonic Beast? I think I'm doing both. I'm a sucker for both. I always have been. I gotta do two of everything. What is Wong standing on? Mystic Smoke. He's got the Vishanti's blushing going on. So I got that yellow on there. I'm going to just take some warm orange. Not going to do anything fancy. Soften it to the top. Run it on the bottom. Soften to the top. And this doesn't have to be perfect. Let's angle our camera down. Oh, we can raise it up just a little bit. Cheers, Simone. He's been sassy all day. Pretty sassy for a fellow on vacation. I'm just going to paint right on the bottom of all that. This orange. like a nice warm orange. Right behind his foot. Bring it up and over that little bit of mystic smoke rising forward. I really want to concentrate this as I go down toward the base. Got a little green on the mystic smoke, that's okay, I'll cover it up later. Remember, painting miniatures is a fine art of correcting one's mistakes. Now, of course, this is still wet, but that's okay. So I'm going to grab some red here in a second. I'm going to start punching some. Well, let's do like a more true orange real quick. Gotta shake it up real good. You can hear it shake. Can you shut that door? Thank you. Alright, got some really tangerine-y orange. I'm going to start working this. Now this other paint's already wet, so I'm just going to mash that in there, right? And just let those blend together. Focus on the undersides. Grab that wet paint. Just bringing some of that much more traditional mystic orange that we kind of got established. So I know I only got 7 more minutes, but we're going to go a little long because I want to do the highlights on the mystic smoke so I can show everybody how to do the highlights on this mystic stuff. Hopefully that's okay. I mean, it won't be okay with Josh, but hopefully it's okay with everybody else. Is it okay with everybody else? Does anybody else have any qualms? So I would do one more shade as well, like really leaning down into like a really bright, like fire truck red at the very, very base of the mystic smoke. Kind of show like very powerful effect there. But I want to do the highlighting real quick because I think the highlights are a lot of fun to play with. A little orange here. Just making that decision based on nothing but just where I think some orange would look cool. Let's raise him up again. I think he's slid down. Alright, so I'm going to take an off-white and my pure yellow, mix it together. I'm using an off-white because this is just on my palette. Let me grab the bottle. So something like white sands here, it's not pure white. It's got pigment in it still from like a little yellow pigment in there. So it keeps it from desaturating as much as if just using pure white. And I want to do something fun, so I'm going to do some dots. Your favorite. I'm going to focus like kind of at the front of the bubbles. Like I said earlier, right, I like putting the lights right next to the darks. So maybe down here, I put like a couple bubbles like inside the darkest areas, because those are going to stand out. You could also do like little swirls, or you could do all kinds of things here. But I'm just trying to add highlight to make it look more energetic. But also just to give it some like visual interest. Just little bits of the mystic magics, right? Once again, it's all about telling a story, and like this is how I kind of envision my magic. You can envision yours however you want. Once again, it goes back to that storytelling, right? Telling your story. A little green on there, so I'm going to cover it up with my yellow dots. He's almost ready for a table. There's a few more things I'd like to do. Like I said, I still got to paint his eyes, and I got to paint his clasp. But other than that, and I might do a freehand on his back. I don't know. That takes me a little bit longer. I think it's more of a, if we go long once, then you guys expect it every time. Plus I got other work I gotta do. Now I'm adding more white, more of that off-white, almost purely the off-white, but I want just a little tiny touch of the yellow in there. I'm going to highlight to just some little select bits here and there. Just the tiniest amount of dots. Just to bring some punch to the end of those. it looks just more intense. And then, like I said, I can take some fire truck red. Just put just the slightest little bit of that in some of the deeper areas. Just to add intensity, basically. Gold. Let's find a gold. I still got no minutes left.